In doing closing remarks, I mean, it's pretty common to say it's all been said. In some ways it has been. But I do want to lift up just a few observations about the Black Alliance for Peace and both the domestic and international struggle that we're engaged in. 2 years old tonight, a very, very incredible 2 years. But that 2 years is built on a long history of connecting to the Black radical international struggle. And that means a history of resistance to war, to militarism, to imperialism, to capitalism, to patriarchy, to white supremacy. Just to say those once again. We know on this fated night, 51 years ago, Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated, murdered, for many of the reasons that our speakers have articulated. But let us keep in mind that he was in Memphis, in accord to align with some of the poorest paid workers, black men doing dirty, violent work. But he stood strong with them. The first of the year in '68 was something known as the so-called Tet Offensive. That's the international expression of the Vietnam War, where tons and tons of Agent Orange and other violent chemical warfare was poured on the Vietnamese people as they struggled for their own liberation. That too was connected, as we heard earlier, to the struggle that was going on in this country. In fact, 40% of the fighters were black and poor men during that period. And we just heard about the 82nd and the powerful role they played in resistance. So we want to be very clear that we stand on the shoulders of earlier struggles. In 1966, the Panther Party had already articulated the demand to end police brutality on our people and to stop murdering black people. They had already stood strong against the war in Vietnam. Even before that, in 1704, those rebellious Africans who were Maroons or Colombos were being hunted by the first slave patrols, which gave rise to the police. So we know this history is long and ignoble. So no compromise, no retreat in the fight to end war and militarism, racism. We know that yesterday the Black Alliance for Peace delivered thousands of signatures to the Congregational Black Caucus demanding action on AFRICOM. It was on October 1st that that particular campaign was initiated and continues. On the flip side of that campaign is the new initiative to bring that struggle home to its domestic side, as our sister Vanessa Beck just articulated to you. We will be working on ending police violence, controlling the police in the absolute sense of that word, as was mentioned earlier, ending the connection with Israel. That's the source of the broken windows policing that New York, thank you, New York initiated. We know that this prison nation continues to incarcerate not only black men, but black women and black children. So keep that in mind. We have already begun to develop fact sheets. A little bit of it was shared, but you may not know that, for example, militarization in a state like Georgia has, in fact, and I'll just read the statistic that we were able to find about Atlanta, and we're actually looking at 5 cities in terms of militarism and occupation in our communities in this country. But the Atlanta city participated in the Georgia International Law Enforcement Exchange that sends city police to Israel. The J20 coalition demanded an end to participation in the program. In response, the mayor said Now you know who the mayor was.
Uh-oh.
And in 2017 of February, that this program is necessary, appropriate, and successful to counter terrorism training. This training leads to the security of our community and, of course, the militarization and occupation of our communities. So we have work ahead. I'm proud to be a member of the research team, and I know that for those of you who are interested in actually getting involved, this is a defining moment. The work is before us, and as the sister said earlier, if not for us, certainly for our children. Thank you.